Morning, everybody. As president of Daemen College, I'm honored and proud to have this opportunity to announce a major legislative accomplishment brought about by collective, nonpartisan, collaborative efforts and resulting in the Daemen College initiated effort through its VP of Government Affairs and Special Projects, Mr. Robert Mills. He and Professor Jack Satora and from our superb PT department and I reached out to our state legislatures in Albany and also to the New York Physical Therapy Association. And specifically, I'd like to thank the hard work and dedication of those who are here today, faculty at Daemen College and other colleges with Doctor of Physical Therapy programs in the state of New York. All of us were able to establish and will be able to establish nonprofit practice that centers which will treat our citizens and provide vital clinical settings for continued training and education of physical therapy students. Our physical therapy faculty and students know how proud I am of you, so I won't repeat this, but I'd like to pay special attention and tribute to those leaders both here and in Albany, who have been instrumental in bringing about the legislative achievement without, and this is important, one dissenting vote in either the State Assembly or Senate. In particular, Daemen College owes a great, great debt of gratitude to the two gentlemen to my right. First, State Senator Michael Ranzenhofer for an impressive effort in the State Senate where his committee moved S 6980 through the process and to a final vote on the faculty practice legislation just last Thursday before the Senate adjourned for the year. Getting approval on the final day brought some excitement, particularly to Bobby Mills and me, but they were incredibly successful, and the culminating vote was 60-0. I also want to thank Assemblyman Ray Walter, a freshman member who believed in us and what we hoped to achieve. He reached across the aisle to the Democratic Committee chairperson and brought Assembly Bill 1002 through the process and managed 104-0 approval in the Assembly. It's remarkable. Thank you both very, very much for your contribution, not simply to Daemen College, but to profound healthcare change and transformation for the state of New York. Now, clinical practices can take place that will greatly benefit the vast majority of people in the state of New York, and do so in new and novel and exciting ways. Without you, this never could have happened. So, for Daemen College faculty, but also I think for the people of New York, I once again thank you and express a deep and serious appreciation. Now, we're most grateful to everyone who also helped, particularly to the New York Physical Therapy Association for its advocacy and support. They did a great job. Finally, and most importantly, we want to pay tribute to Dr. Michael Brogan, who's now the Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the College. And for many years, of course, one of the key physical therapists on the faculty and also chair of the department at one time. To Jack Satora, whose efforts and encouragement and whose initial idea about seeing if we could change the legislation spurred us forward. And of course, all the DP physical therapy faculty whose vision helped prompt our actions. Now, Dr. Michael Brogan, our Vice President for Academic Affairs and a physical therapist, will briefly speak about specific plans at Daemen College now that this new authority will be in place and what the hard work of our legislators in Daemen Physical Therapy managed to accomplish. But before we do that, it's with great honor and a great pleasure that I would ask the two gentlemen to my right to address us and about the success of their efforts. And we'll start first, please, with Senator Ranzenhofer, followed by Assemblyman Walter, and then Mike Brogan.
Well, Ed, thank you for that very nice introduction. And I just want to say that today is a great day for Daemen College and the state of New York, but in particular for Daemen College, and let me tell you why. There are approximately, and I guess Michael can give us the exact number of institutions that this is going to affect, but Daemen College was really the leader and the primary advocate and the primary driving force between Assemblyman Walter and myself in spurring this legislation. There were other institutions throughout the state of New York. There were other physical therapy groups throughout the state of New York, but there was none stronger, more vocal, more dedicated, more focused than Daemen College in working with us to get this legislation enacted, drafted, and eventually, hopefully, signed into law. This was a long overdue piece of legislation. And essentially, by way of explanation, is there are many medical groups and there are chiropractic groups that can form university and college programs throughout the state of New York, and physical therapists could not. And there was really no sound reason for that loophole in the law to exist. So when we met with the many folks from Daemen, Ed, and Bobby, earlier in the year, we sat down with them in the Capitol, and they explained to us how important this was for Daemen College and how important this was for their physical therapy practice, for which they've received a very nice grant, to really get this going and to really build on their practice. Not only good for physical therapists, good for clinicians, good for patients, good for students. This was a law that was good for everybody. So we rolled up our sleeves and we got to work. And you know, I got to take my hat off to Assemblyman Walter in his first term. You know, he's at a slightly disadvantage because he's in the minority, so he had to reach out, and he reached out to the chair of the Corporations Committee in the Assembly. I chair the Corporations Committee in the Senate, so it was a little bit easier for me to make this bill happen in the Senate, to get it drafted, because I chair the committee. But Ray had to reach out across the aisle and convince the assemblyman from Brooklyn that this was not only good for Brooklyn, this was good for the state, and this was good for Amherst, New York. And he successfully did that. He did a great job in reaching across the aisle and to get a bill enacted, which is going to benefit Daemen. So again, you know, today is a day of celebration. It's not often when you can introduce a bill in 1 year and actually get it passed in that year. Sometimes these bills take 20 years, which is, I think, how long it was since the last time this law was enacted to allow these practice groups for other professions. So again, let me just close by thanking my colleague, Assemblyman Walter, the folks here at Daemen, the physical therapists throughout the state of New York, and particularly in our hometown of Amherst, for really advocating for this bill. This is good for the students, it's good for the college, and it's going to be very, very good for New Yorkers. So again, thanks to everybody's help. Daemen, you were really, really a force to deal with in bringing this legislation to fruition. So with that, I'll turn it over to Assemblyman Walter for a few words.
Thank you. There'll be lots of thank yous today, but a thank you all for being here today. I want to specifically thank the president of Daemen, Edwin Clausen, and of course Dr. Jack Stakura and Bobby Mills, whose tireless advocacy really made this happen. They met with the senator and I back in March and really never let up for a minute to make sure that this went through. So congratulations to them for their advocacy. Also, again, I want to thank my partner in state government, Senator Ranzenhofer. His leadership was critical on this measure. You really have to appreciate the hard work and effort and the importance of having someone in the majority in the Senate to help shepherd this through. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't thank the chairman of the Corporations Committee in the Assembly, Chairman Jim Brennan, who was very helpful and always willing to take my call, always willing to listen to make sure that we made this bill happen. University faculty practice corporations in the areas of medicine, dentistry, and optometry are able to offer valuable clinical and educational benefits for students and doctors in these professions. Now these benefits will be available for students studying in the field of physical therapy as well. This is especially important development for the cutting-edge work that Daemen is doing in the area of chronic wound care, such as bed sores and diabetic need in our area, where we have an aging population, and it will help to bring down healthcare costs by addressing these issues early on that can lead to disability and the need for assisted living. But again, this is just another example of elected officials working across party lines and regional boundaries to develop real solutions for the people of New York. And it was an honor to play a role in shepherding this legislation through. So thank you again. Congratulations to the folks at Daemen. Your work here has benefited the entire state, and this is a good day for New York. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just say a few words on the clinic initiative, which is possible because of the generosity of the Oshai Foundation. Outside of human suffering, chronic wounds cost over $40 billion a year just to manage them. Because of this change in law, Daemen College physical therapy faculty and staff will operate the clinic, which will focus on 3 aims: a clinical aim, a research aim, and an educational aim. We're looking forward to working very closely with the Catholic Health System, Kaleida, Roswell, ECMC, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Independent Health, Univera. Additionally, we're looking forward to working with our research partners at the University of Buffalo and at Roswell, and also working closely with the physical therapy programs at the University of Buffalo and UVille. A collegial and collaborative model will allow us to engage in comprehensive treatment, multi-center driven research, and academic and clinical enhancement. We truly believe that having this law changed, working together, and focusing on each of these 3 aims will lead to more efficient, better outcomes, and reduced cost for those in Western New York suffering from these chronic wounds. This overall initiative is intended to serve as a demonstration project, leading to interdisciplinary best practice. Patients will receive care regardless of their insurance limitations. We hope that this initiative will allow us to develop similar clinics in the city of Buffalo, serving those who are in need of physical therapy across a lifespan with little or no insurance. We're very grateful for all the support given to us, for the efforts of Jack Stachera, all the physical therapy faculty, Greg, Bobby, the president for having faith in the initiative, and the Board of Trustees for supporting it. So Daemen College is very grateful for all the efforts that went into this, and we look forward to serving those who are in need. Thank you.
I'm not going to say another word. That couldn't have been summarized better. So feel free to mingle a little bit. Both of our legislators are going to stay for a little while, so please feel free to say hi and talk to them. Thank you.